My question to you is this: what is your view about the modern dating market, the modern social dynamics between men and women? What are your views on that?
Well, you probably already have seen me, speak about this on Fresh and Fit. So I'll see if I can elaborate a little bit more. What I've been doing really for 20 years. I started out as a moderator on a forum, like I guess it would be a chat forum, an internet forum called So Suave. And that was back as far back as like 2002. So I usually just mark it right about there. So it's been about 20 years that I've been doing what I do. And a lot of my work, as far as writing the blog, writing my books, doing my channel, and all the stuff that I, just being me, really started back in 2002. So I've been doing this for, I guess I don't need to really, qualify my bona fides here, but I've been doing this for quite some time. And in that time, I have seen the sexual marketplace evolve from what it was, like, say, in the mid 2000s up to where we are right now. So some things change, some things stay the same, and I keep seeing cycles come through. Like there's like people will suddenly they'll hit on certain topics that they think are like brand new topics that like maybe it's the third time I've seen it come up in the manosphere. So the more things change, the more they stay the same. Now things have changed, of course, because of social media, and I think that that's probably the number one game changer. It's the number one disruptor, let's just say, of the sexual marketplace right now. So when I started out, there was I guess Facebook came out in 2006. So Facebook was a thing, but it wasn't what we know as Facebook right now. And as far as social media was concerned, Twitter was just one other app amongst many. And I remember when MySpace was a thing, right? And that's gone. Nobody remembers that stuff. So, but I think that what we've done right now, if you want to know why, like women sort of have these, we always talk about this, these delusional sort of sense of entitlement to guys and everything. I think it's because we have, through social media, made them sort of spoiled for choice, right? It's the paradox of choice. They have too many choices, and so as a result of that, they think that they're a 4 and they think that they're a 10 because they're online and everybody online is saying, you go girl. And if they don't think they're a 10, they certainly think they're an 8. Right. And so it's this constant feed of attention and this feed of sort of ego appeasement, I think, for women. And we've never really had that in the history of like humankind. Right. And so when I've made this comparison before, like when you probably have had people on here before talk about like NoFap, or they'll talk about like, oh, I'm addicted to pornography. It's like that's a guy thing. But what we don't talk about is how women are addicted to social media, because it's the same kind of addiction. It's just that's their sort of addiction, attention addiction, as opposed to like guys who have like a sexual addiction, or they can't stop jerking off because they've got access to like free online streaming, ubiquitous porn all the time. Women have the same access to constant attention and constant ego appeasement and constant simping. That's the word simp. I remember when the word simp came out, and I remember it being it evolved from the term sympathetic, right? You're sympathetic with like women's issues and identifying with them. And then it turned into like simp, S-I-M-P instead of S-Y-M-P. And so now simp is a thing. Incel is a thing. Black pill is a thing. MGTOW is like, it might be one end of the spectrum to the other. And I've seen a lot of things sort of progress, but I think a lot of this, like just us having this talk, like I started doing what I do in a time where we couldn't do this, or it would have been really difficult for us to be able to have like sort of an online discussion, with everybody else in the chat as well. And so I think the technology right now is really what's been the greatest disruptor of the sexual marketplace. And we're still trying to figure it out. And the human psychology and the human machine doesn't change, but our ability to sort of catch up and keep up with the technology and how it relates to how we meet women and how we interrelate with women as men, or learning about men's nature and women's nature in this new kind of fast-paced data age. It's something that's really difficult for guys right now. And it's difficult for women as well, because again, like they have these really overblown senses of ego as a result of all of that. And we're still trying to figure those things out. And so it's sort of like keeping up. And I think that's probably the hardest part that most guys have right now. Like I don't know, how old are you right now?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Like, I'm a guy I was born into this. I'm only 25.
25. Yeah. So you probably never known an age where there wasn't like, a cell phone, or there wasn't like internet like this. You take this stuff for granted. Whereas like I came up from like, I remember like when I was in the quote unquote manosphere, I was doing, forums, and then I had the blog, and then the blog transforms into a book. And then the book transforms into me being online and doing talks, TED style talks at different conventions. And now I'm doing this channel. And so it's like this progression that I've done over the past like 20 years, and watching all of this sort of build up. And the other thing I should point out too is, maybe you remember this and maybe you don't, but like I can remember a time when online dating was about like going to match.com or Plenty of Fish or like OkCupid or eHarmony or whatever. And we would take all very long time to write these really in-depth profiles. And here's what I'm looking for and blah, 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 blah. Right. And that's not how we do it now. Now we've gone from this like really kind of insightful way of like talking about ourselves and what we really want to like, is he cute? Right. Is the guy cute? No, he's not cute. That's all it is. It's image based right now. And nobody cares about like what you're looking for in a mate. It's just like, yeah, you're hot, I'd bang you. Oh, you're not. I would, it's just, that's all it is image based right now. And so you're 25. When your kids are talking about intersexual dynamics, that's going to be old news. I don't know how they're going to interrelate at that point, but like, I don't see where you go from like, writing about yourself and like, oh, I'm this and I'm that, and I like long walks on the beach kind of shit. And then like you go to, swipe left, swipe right. Yeah.
So for me, I think because I'm 25 and I kind of was just throwing right into it. I don't know how dating was before. It's even for a guy who's 25, it's even tough, right? Like I feel like social media, these modern day dynamics between men and women, the average man is screwed, right? Like your status as a man needs to evolve, needs to improve, or else like women are just overlooking guys. All right, I feel like
there was a guy I don't know if you're familiar with Roosh V, but Roosh is Roosh kind of like he evolved into something really, really that I never expected that he would. But there was a time I can remember back actually about 10 years ago, back in 2012. He wrote this one post on his blog, and I don't know if it's still available on his blog. You might be able to find it on like Wayback Machine or something like that. But he wrote this post about like what you can predict about the future of dating, and like he was like forecasting like 5 or 10 years into the future, and he was damn accurate. I mean, a lot of the stuff he was talking about, like one of the things he said was that game and fame would be necessary for you to hook up with a chick. So you would need the blue check mark, right? You would need to get verified on Instagram. And it's like, that's now, it's not so much like you can walk into a club and you're dressed very well and you look like you have status. And it's like, I mean, that's very important, like live in person. But the first thing women are going to do is they're going to go and look at your, like, it's not about like getting a phone number anymore. It's follow me on Instagram. So once they see that and they see your pictures, you better damn well have a very well, curated gallery of pictures of you like on a yacht or like on a Lamborghini or working out and whatever it is. And so you have to have this sort of like image. Like I said, it's all about images. And so that was one thing he was very accurate about, but it's game and fame. And in this case, that fame might just be, well, you're sort of like a low-level DJ at a club, right? Or you might be, if you have the blue check mark, or if you're verified on Instagram, that might be enough for that sort of status to sort of kick in for women. Because as I said before, they have this, they're spoiled for choice. So if you don't have the blue check, there's another guy that kind of looks just about as good as you, and he does. That's the guy that she's going to pay attention to because he's got status and he's got like clout. And so it's like this clout chasing thing that goes along with that. That's one of them. And then the other thing is like, it's no longer necessary. Like if you want to get a girlfriend, you have to be, you won't get a girlfriend until after you fuck her, right? You won't have a relationship until after that happens right now. It's like, and it's no longer about, like I said, it's no longer about phone numbers anymore. a number close used to be a measure of success back in the early 2000s. Means nothing right now. But follow me on Instagram. Are you cool enough to hang out with? Yes. Okay. Now we can actually smash.
Right. That is pinpoint what we're going through right now.